Hello the internets and welcome to this video where today I will be attempting to build a Japanese style of sports car from the 90s. Now this Range Rover style of body, that's not going to do the job, so we're going to get an estate, or maybe a Honda City Turbo. Nah, too short a wheelbase, especially if we go with rear wheel drive, it's just not going to grip. Mine is an all-wheel drive car, it could be quite good fun. However, I'm going to use the Silvia S14 Nissan to base this car off, so it wouldn't be ideal. I think we want, I don't know, partial aluminium is expensive. More expensive than aluminium, actually. I think if we go with corrosion-resistant steel, it's a good choice. It is a mass-produced sports car here we're building. We're not building a limited production of any kind. It will be a unitary construction, a good way to make a lot of them cheaply. And we will go with a material for the chassis. We're not going to use carbon fibre. We could use galvanised steel, or we could use corrosion resistant, the same as the body panels. I think that's what we'll use. It'll be a front longitudinal engine layout. There's not really anything else you can do with this. So it's either going to be rear-wheel drive or all-wheel drive, or front-wheel drive if I go with transverse, which is very unlikely. As I say, it's a sports car. Front suspension. Now, the Nissan has McPherson's strut, although I think I'll go with double wishbone, and I'll kind of under-engineer the rear, if that makes sense. Probably won't go all the way back to coil. Semi-trailing arm is probably enough to save a bit of money there, because that has multi-link on the rear, but I don't think you're going to gain much in terms of capability that way. I think if we go with a double wishbone front trailing arm rear layout, it's going to be a lot better for overall performance, so that's why I'm doing it that way. And yes, I am perhaps going more BMW than you would expect. I'm going to put an inline 6 in it. Single overhead cam, 4 valve per cylinder. And we can make it smaller. I've been thinking a 2 litre inline 6, but it doesn't want to fit it in. But we can fit a 2 litre. I just have to play around with the dimensions a little. I wouldn't really want to go smaller than 2 litres in a engine with this many cylinders, that's for sure. We'll go this way. It's not going to be a turbo either, so that's how I'm going to make the money back from it having all of the cylinders. 1996, almost the year it's constructed in, so we don't want that. 1999, there we go. That is a just under 2 litre engine here. We'll go full aluminium, although I would have liked cast iron for the cost savings. I don't think the cost savings are actually that big. Save engineering time, but it also adds a lot of weight. It saves a bit of money as well. Material costs, there we go. It saves a bit of money as well, but I don't think it's worth it. We want this to be a balanced car, so it's not worth messing that up in the reason of cost saving. I mean, if I have to save money, I personally would rather go to McPherson's strut front suspension than lose the inline 6 engine. If that's the compromise that has to be made to get this engine in the car, that's what I would do personally. But I have already slightly compromised, as you can see. I could go with a dual overhead cam at this time. I mean, there have been a few cars at this point, 1994, which have already had dual overhead cam on 4-cylinder engines, but I've gone with a single because it makes it cheaper to engineer, cheaper to manufacture. So if we look at here, 19.1 engineering time. Yeah, there's also 5 valve per cylinder, but that's not going to happen on a cheaper car, not anytime soon. We'll go, I say anytime soon, it'll take another 5-6 years for it to come to fruition that way. We'll go 25.5 engineering time there, and 19.1 here, and then material costs 128 here, and 159 there. So you see, we're saving money, just in different ways. And again, it's one of those things, I don't find the difference is worthwhile in the case where you're really limited for what you can do with the money, we'll go with perhaps cheaper internals unless it has a significant weight addition. There's some weight added, but it seems less than significant. Cast is actually heavier than... No, heavy duty cast is heavier. Heavy duty forged is a bit lighter. Engineering time is the same. Material costs are a bit less. Is that just because it's heavy duty? No, I don't know. Material costs on here. So if I can get lightweight forged conrods working... The engineering time is pushed up there, though. And we don't want that. So, heavy duty forged look pretty good if I can get them working. Actually, I could probably just remove a head on this menu. What am I doing? And we've got the sump, not the sump. I don't want the sump removing. We want the front cover removing, and that bit there. Top, what is it? No, rocker cover, that's it. And we're still not where we want. There we go. Now we are. There we have our pistons. You'll see if I go to cast. Well, I remember it changing colour. I'm not sure what's happened now in the pistons, but I remember they were a different colour when I checked before. Maybe it's a bug or something. We have this now. Billet steel, is that any better? Engineering time goes up, even if the material costs go down. So to keep the engineering time down, I think I'll just have forged conrods. Oh, wait a minute. I'm being stupid. I didn't change the pistons to forged, is it? I changed the conrods. I'm still not seeing any. Oh, and that's a crank. Forget that. Yeah, I still don't see a difference, really. But I see my own stupidity has kind of got the better of me. This engine is now square. I can change the dimensions, or very close to square. I can change the dimensions if it refuses to rev. But I think 6 cylinders in the space of 2 litres, it should rev quite easily. We have a lot of options here. Engineering time, up to low friction cast is the same. I believe these may be slightly more efficient technologies. So I'll try hyper cast, or however you say it. And yeah. And then we have all of these stuff. We'll have some valve timing, sure. Although it does add some engineering time. I mean, why not? VTEC engines were around throughout the 90s, so it's not like it's an alien technology at this point. And I can actually click on the game and not on my other display. That would be helpful. We have a lot of configurator bits. We'll go with, for now, single point injection, although I may change that. I may very well change that to multi-point if it seems necessary in the future. Just for the time being, single point will do what needs to be done. And we'll go and put it on regular fuel. We'll go long tubular, maybe. Does that work? No. I don't know what I'm thinking. It hikes the engineering time up, but then... So it would. I think if I go with tubular, max power goes down. As does the weight go up. I mean, I don't see any disadvantage to using this other than the engineering time, but you can extract extra power from the exhaust, so it's probably worthwhile, to be entirely honest. We'll go and add a high flow three-way catalytic converter and a baffled muffler, because we want this car to be economical as well. So we should have a exhaust system here that is fairly efficient yet functional in reducing how much pollution it makes. And already we're nowhere near the 120 horsepower we need to make. 120, no, we're making 120. nearly 200 horsepower we need to make to compete with the Nissan. We can raise the RPM. Yep, as I said, its weakest part is the pistons, and even the pistons can take a bit of stuff. Even the pistons can take a bit of aggression in the driving. When you factor in the engine still has a bit of build-up to be done, it's not complete yet. Right, we don't want a massive exhaust. It's pretty big as it is, but that should do the trick. 139, can we extract just a little more out of it while we're here? This is the basic tune though. I don't know what I'll end up doing to it when things come to it. I don't know. Now, I did choose the estate for a very good reason, and it's not just practicality. I mean, I don't know why they look like they have bird poo on the bonnet. It's just the way they are. But besides practicality, there's a very good reason to choose the estate, and that is the weight. Now, look at the rear end of this. There's actually going to be more weight over the back when you think about it. So we can hike that up, and we can have all the practicality and everything that you would expect from an estate, but we can also move that back, perhaps? No? I don't know. Make it more aerodynamics. No, we can maybe do that? I don't know. Trying to maximize the space we have. Can we extend the tail out? Yes, we can. That's excellent. We can do that as well. So that will kind of move the entire body of the vehicle back, which is what we want to happen. Then we can have a long bonnet, as so you would expect from a sportier vehicle. And we can have the rear weight balance stuff, more rearward weight balance, to put simply. What headlights do we have now? We have a lot more headlights from the blobby 90's era, but I find these ones are quite neat and in fitting with what the car is. Yes, come on, get bigger. There we are. Oh, it stretches in weird ways. We could rotate these around like so. And there we go. We have some beady-eyed headlights. I'm not sure I like it so much. It kind of looks aggressive, but at the same time, it doesn't want to be aggressive. It's like I'm building a Japanese sports car based on an Audi or something weird. How would these look? I think these are a bit too modern, a bit too aggressive for this era of design. There's got to be a mirror button somewhere. Come on. Mirror, there we go. So that shows how they look on either side. Chrome doesn't really suit this car, I'll admit. As much as I like chrome, it doesn't suit this car. We can go with all kinds of drive lines, but we will be going with rear-wheel drive. The traditional choice. And a manual, 5-speed, same as a Nissan. Or we could go with a 4-speed, but I don't think anything of this time other than perhaps the old muscle car would have a 4-speed. We'll go with a differential. We won't be going with a really fancy one. As I say, it is a cheaper car, but we will be going with a differential. And radials, naturally. I feel we could go with the same type of tyres. So it was 16 inches on the Nissan. Now, they look massive if you ask me. It shouldn't need beyond 15s. For this car's body, I'd like to actually go wide body style on it, but I'm not sure if I can bring the flares out. Right, so no, it won't let me grab them and bring them out. So we're stuck to whatever width it'll give us, which isn't much of a problem in the performance regions we're talking about here. We're talking about like 200 horsepower. So 265 should easily be enough power for these tyres and no more. Now, I don't know what the weight balance is going to come out as. So, 32 miles per gallon UK is apparently the figure we're getting. And we have 1 piston brakes we're going to add all around. They can be adjusted later as per the needs of the car. We'll maybe go with a semi-clad under tray because of how much the engineering time hikes up if we try and improve that. And the material costs hike up a decent amount as well. So that seems like a decent compromise. We'll go... We can add bench seats. I don't think we'll be doing that. There'll be a standard interior. Now, what has me about the Nissan is... The Nissan has really got a lightweight chassis. It's 1240 kilograms if I remember correctly, and that is not a lot. So how are we going to compete with that and still have all the extra seats? I don't know. I guess we'll just have to have a very uncomfortable basic car at the end of it. We'll have perhaps some power steering. Doesn't take too long to engineer, and I get the feeling it will improve the market ratings. Although, I don't know, this stuff adds a lot. ABS, I don't think traction control is particularly necessary. So, I'll just go with ABS. People will have to hate me for it. Wow, there's so many safety options it exceeds the table. That's something. We'll go with perhaps standard. Progressive is supposed to be more comfortable, but we have to remember this is a sports car. It's a purebred sports car. It just looks like an estate for weight distribution reasons. We'll go, what's the best for sportiness then? So standard is better for sportiness, naturally, as I suspected there. These don't make any difference, apparently. Oh wait, they do. That's better for sportiness. Adaptive or even better, but the engineering time is so much higher. And I think if we just go with sport on here, is this in oversteer permanently? Does it say yep. It's permanently oversteering. That's exactly how we want the car to handle, isn't it? No, we could seriously do something about that. I'm impressed by the weight though. 1325 then. That is not bad at all, and the weight balance as well is pretty good, as I was always intending. So all that really is to do now is, I guess, build the engine up. There is more weight in this car than the Silvia. There's no way to deny that, but as I said, I've got more seats, so it's to be expected. It's not like I'm doing some miracle with this car. I've just built a decent car in its own right. Anyway, I'll rejoin you in a moment. So here we have our third generation Golf Estate / Volvo 850 / Kia Sedona thing. And that tail light is all kind of goofy. But anyway, as you'll see, it is apparently an eco car. Yeah, I just stuck plates on. I didn't give it too much thought. The design in itself is not the most well thought out thing, but it works, so I can't really complain about that. I've changed the panel material to partial aluminium, as well as changing the rear suspension to double wishbone, and that's about all I've done on this set of menus. If we move on, we'll see the engine is now a 2000cc engine, crammed into the engine bay just about. It is dual overhead cam. I've had to make a lot of changes to get the power out of it, although it is not with VBL this time, as that adds a lot of engineering time, and I just decided it wasn't necessary. I've gone with forged internals and a cast iron crankshaft. because they provide me with the RPM capabilities I need. It'll rev to 9500 before it sees problems, and that's good enough for me. You'll see it's had to be really revved out though to get that 200 horsepower, because we've not got a turbo available to us like the Nissan engine did. The Nissan had 2 less cylinders, but it did have the turbocharger, and I've opted not to go with a turbocharger, much like a older Lexus or BMW would have. We've gone with the multi-point per cylinder injection and a performance intake, which I may not need, but it gets us over 200, so there we go. Ignition timing, I can actually tweak that to get me ever so slightly more power, so I'll do that. I must have just missed that before. Exhaust, I can do the same, but I was honestly not wanting to go bigger than that because it's a huge exhaust as it is, and huge is big enough for me. We can go through here. We've got the same exhaust system there, and that is our engine. We've managed to just about get over 200 horsepower now, so we are maybe 5 and a bit horsepower more than the Nissan here. We didn't need to remove a sump. We can remove a front cover, and wherever that top piece is, intake maybe. We've not got a turbo to remove. There we go. Rocker cover, that was it. So, here we go. Dual overhead cam 4 valve cylinder was the way to go. Although I wanted single overhead cam to save development costs, it weren't going to work. I just couldn't get the power I needed. One thing I will mention though while I'm here, it does weigh 123.3 kilograms, which is light for something with 6 cylinders, and I think VVL had something to do with that. If we actually go all the way back here, add VVL and then go here, yeah, it's 141, so I'm not sure how much weight it has saved specifically, but it's saved over 15 kilograms. Not bad. I mean, as I say, I just don't need VVL on this engine, so why bother when it increases development time quite a bit and adds weight? We've got our estate body for better balance, and nothing really has changed here. Although I could change the brake caliper colour. I've not done anything with that. And to be honest, the body colour as well. The wheels are fine as they are. I could make them obnoxiously chrome, but it just doesn't suit the rest of the car at all. So all car slot. We're not gonna make it bright pink. Let's add a new custom paint. I think that's nice. You know, it's slightly bluish green. I really like that colour. I think we're going to go with it. I should make these cars blue and white, but since the colour just came and it's so nice as it is, I'm happy to keep it that way. We've got all our assorted bits. We've got a fuel filler cap in a slightly odd location, but it works, so who cares? Same with a rear, I guess you could say. I just stuck some bits on. I'm not going to pretend this is my best design in the world. It simply isn't, but it does the job. We're 0.7 seconds quicker than the Nissan to 100 miles per hour because I don't know how. No turbo lag, I can guess. Although the engine does not have a huge amount of torque, so closer gear ratios is probably more of a reason. The miles per gallon is atrocious compared to the Nissan. As a matter of fact, because I am so far in the green, I could probably try extending them out just a bit. So 22.9, 23 miles per gallon. I'm able to squeeze out of it with very long gears, economy gears even. But that is 7.9, so pointlessly long gear ratios to get it this efficient. We could try moving it back some more. There we go. That's slightly better now. So if I do this, I may be able to get the mighty 23 miles per gallon this way. I am not holding out a huge amount of hope, though. We've also lost market. It's supposed to be a fun premium. That's where I was aiming to get it at. And I lost market value there by lengthening the gears. It's supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be premium. The miles per gallon advantage I could gain is tiny. And I would say not worthwhile overall. So if we just make it slightly longer. It is a lot slower than the Nissan in terms of straight line speed. It's another thing I feel I have no control over. And what's this I'm improving? I'm improving utility a lot with tighter gear ratios, which is interesting. I've also made it slightly better, I think, by tightening them up closer early on, as well as improving the 0 to 60 time. So I think if I just go down a little more, 102.6, sorry, my mind just completely crashed there, and 6.7 seconds to 60, so this is quick. Efficiency is pretty dreadful, but it's a naturally aspirated engine. That is just my excuse right now. Turbos are a lot more efficient, it's just the way things always work out. The top speed is slow. I can't figure that one out. I can't figure why it's so slow. It could just be that it's not as much of a aerodynamic design as the Sylvia. That's the only point I can really call on there. And we have, well, all the tyre basically. This would help efficiency. As you'll see, 22.5 on there. But it likes it on Sport Compound. So we can change that, but it quickly leaps down the statistics. Other than Family Sport, if I was aiming for that, but no, I'm aiming for a fun premium vehicle because it's a sports car. It's not a family car primarily. It's primarily a sports car with family credentials, hence why it's marketed that way. I think it's going to be quick though for what it is. I think it can really put up a fight. We have 3 piston brakes on the front, and then slightly bigger 1 piston on the rear. I think I tried vented discs, but they're not really any better. Same style of brakes as on the Nissan, only the Nissan might have less pistons, I don't know. The actual weight of the car is similar, surprisingly enough, despite this having 4 seats and being an estate. They are pretty similar. I've set this stuff up again to do well in my chosen category, so that's how these things have all worked out. Nothing too much to speak of. Adaptive dampers is about as fancy as it gets. Really, it didn't want to go really fancy, but because it's a fun premium, there's slightly more premium options here. You can set it up for sport, sure, why not? And there we go. All we've got to do now, really, is take it around the test track. But the other thing I want to cover, weight. 54% front still. 1272 kilos. Now, the Nissan, I believe, was 1240. So we're 32 kilos heavier. But look at the level of practicality you get in this vehicle. I think that's a win, personally, that we're not adding that much more weight. Yet you're still getting the lovely, lovely inline 6 with the extra 2 cylinders. And that you're getting the wheels there and double wishbone suspension. Very big wheels, actually. But hey, the market wants it. I have to provide that to achieve a good score for the car. It revs to 8800 RPM. So, very high revving. Let's see how it does on the automation test track now. See if it can compare to others I've tested. And the top speed is 129 there, but more importantly, the acceleration is just evil. I mean, look at it, 6.66 seconds. That was not intentional. It's just the market must really want an evil acceleration score. Who would have thought? Anyway, let's go. Okay, so it's finished, and on the new leaderboard, it's below the other one car in the new leaderboard, which is V6R2D2, and it's at a 227.79. So there's nothing much to report here. However, I'm potentially going to create a vehicle or two around this performance level to see how they do, as well as turbocharging this thing to see maybe if I could turn it into a Skyline sort of car. If this is the Sylvia of the automation world, then there must be a Sylvia, the Skyline of the automation world as well. I can put words together. It just takes time. The material cost is $17,000, which makes sense. It's a premium, so a slightly higher cost is nothing that can't be expected from it. And that's all I've got to report today. Although I'm apparently having problems. Where is it saying? Yeah, suspension problems. The wide frequency or oscillation is determined separately for each axle. Yeah, just a whole bunch of stuff needs fine-tuning. It doesn't matter, I don't think it's going to make a huge difference for lap time anyway. But still, it's quite affordable actually for the market, I'll give it that. And it does score over 100. Sport budget, oddly. I didn't strike me it as a budget car. But anyway, I'm going to leave it here. I'll open up the bonnet, or just remove it, and give you a nice shot of the inline 6, and I'll say goodbye until another day.